Salutations and welcome to the Red Flags Only podcast, where we talk about things that you thought you understood, but may have missed a few signs along the way. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe for the latest from the channel, and also welcome my co-host for today, the lovely Louisiana Jones. She brings a unique and balanced perspective to our ongoing series for families called Financial Literacy for People That Don't Like to Read, to encourage our community to get money as a family. She also brings the divine feminine perspective. Today we would like to speak on an issue that plagues the community that we often overlook as something that just comes with the territory of being an adult. As we all know, most adults want the best, the very best for their children. To be a good person, to be in great health, to get a good education, land a great job, raise a beautiful family. You know, all the things that we understand to be essential to living a full, healthy, and productive life.
We raise them up from these tiny little beings and cover their every need and expense up until they turn about 18. See, something really weird happens at 18. They're getting ready to graduate high school and they are reaching a pivotal moment in life. Now they have to figure out exactly what they're going to do with the rest of that life. In a lot of circumstances, these young people are given ultimatums of extremely limited choices: go to school, get a job, or join the military. Even parents that consider themselves good parents don't offer these young people much choice with their gentler methods. The limited choices still remain the same: school, job, or military.
Many times when people are feeling trapped in their circumstances due to lack of viable choices, they tend to lash out. Anxiety kicks in, self-sabotage, drinking drugs, and all manner of other destructive habits manifest. And many people end up in a spiral that takes them forever to get out of. Many people never do. Most often, this spiral begins with how that pivotal moment is handled when they're turning 18 or they're getting ready to graduate high school. The youth usually feel this pressure more extremely than adults in many cases because they don't have the wisdom that comes with life experience. This negatively affects their decision making many times. Most often, when presented with these limited options, young people, in their infinite wisdom, make decisions based off emotion and limited information. The lack of information and life experience usually puts them in a jam that they never really get out of.
Now, you may ask, what does this have to do with family finances or how to get money as a family? This is entirely a financial issue, my good people. Why else do you think that the ultimatum comes almost as soon as the young person hits legal age status? Many times we don't actualize the true level of commitment it takes to create an environment that inspires healthy, productive, wholly functional human beings in this society. What it truly takes to raise a child into adulthood. Although many times we speak affirmatively about what we will do and how we will get it done, our actions show something completely different. Let's be honest, many parents in our community feel obligated to their little humans until they turn 18. And once they hit that age, then what? School, job, military. Why? Because the financial burden of another adult mouth to feed is astronomical in today's age. And honestly, we ain't got it.
We can start with the first option, going to school. How is that financial, you ask? Well, we expect our freshly graduated teenager to take out $100K plus in student loans and financial aid to pay for it. Everybody ain't blessed enough to birth a draft pick or a genius. Them the only kids that are getting a free ride to college in today's world. Let me ask you this. How many of you have a 529 education plan or an account set aside for your kid's college fund? But how many of you expect that kid to go to college? Exactly. None of us have the funds, but everybody's expectation is that they go. Every one of us is aware of how big a difference a college degree can make in the life of a person's overall earning potential. But how many of us have set aside the way for them to make that happen? This is absolutely a financial issue, and many of us are putting our kids behind the eight ball before they ever reach adulthood. Only 14% of African Americans hold a college degree. About 40% of African Americans are carrying student loan debt. Now, the average debt for black folks with a bachelor's degree is $52,726. The median student loan debt is about $22K. 43.3% of black women are carrying student loan debt. That is the highest percentage among all racial and gender groups. How many of those young ladies' lives would be changed for the better had their parents had a little something saved up for them to complete the journey? When 70% of all black households are single mother led, how devastating are those numbers? Couple that with black communities in this country where the unemployment rate for black men is 80%, and other communities where 75% of the black male population aged 17 to 45 has done prison time, how is this not societal collapse?
This leads to our next issue, getting a job. African Americans are usually the last hired and the first fired. We are also overrepresented in government jobs, which is great, but it is also an issue when you don't understand politics. Here's what I mean. If you are a black person with a quote unquote good job, meaning a job with competitive pay, unions, benefits, due process rights, pensions, and retirements, you are most likely working for some form of government, state, federal, or municipal. Now, if we extended this coverage to jobs like teachers and social workers, where a great deal of their funding comes from the government, we're talking about nearly 90% of the people that can live a somewhat comfortable life in our community. This is a very big issue when it comes down to voting, because when you hear catchphrases like smaller government, what they're really saying is they want less black people get into the bag, whether intentional or unintentional. Those of us that can't get a job with our degree or with the government end up working in the retail, hospitality, or food service space, which are the lowest wage earning jobs in the country. After that, the pickings get real slim. You could drive Uber or Lyft or some other gig job if you're lucky enough to own a car, but is that really a job? Does it have benefits, paid time off? This is another byproduct of not being involved and informed about politics. President Obama was elected in 2008, and in March of 2009, Uber launched, and Lyft was not far behind. The app was available to you by 2010. Now, while we weren't paying attention, the very fabric of labor laws was being destroyed right before our eyes. How we count unemployment numbers was changed in real time. All of these things were approved by a black president to the detriment of black people. Now, there are an inordinate amount of our people that count as employed but have no benefits nor retirement plan and are basically cannibalizing the life of their own vehicle in order to make a few dollars or a few extra dollars, because the opportunities to earn are simply non-existent. The labor laws were put in place to stop the exploitation of workers. Historically, black workers have been treated unfairly in every field. First fired, last hired. And skirting these laws only open the floodgates for what you see today. The failure to understand politics continues to plague us in this capacity.
And then that brings us to our last issue, joining the military. Now, let me say there's absolutely nothing wrong with joining the military. It is one of the most honorable things you can do to pledge your life in defense of the freedom of the people of your country. And there has historically been some opportunities for our people from our community to do some historically great things in the military. The issue here is that the military is the only viable choice that you have as a young person. It should always be an option, but not the option. And what happens in most cases is many young people feel hopeless and out of options. They are at a point where they are considered adults for responsibility purposes, but don't have the autonomy to move and make decisions like true adults. When the options are few and the pressure is great, this is the easiest move to make, because if you can make it, you'll be taken care of to some extent. All you have to do is survive. What this all comes back to is our lack of planning as adults. We had these kids. We love these kids. We take care of these kids. But when it came down to planning for our offspring to transition into adulthood, We truly dropped the ball, not because we don't care about them, but because in many cases, we came from a situation that put us in a jam early, and over that next 18 plus years, we made sacrifices and did everything we could to put them in the same position to be behind the eight ball like we was at the same point in life. We have to start preparing our kids for the outcomes that we want them to have early on in life. Most of this will require a sacrifice, a great sacrifice by you, the parent. Getting educated, getting certified, getting better jobs, moving them to safer neighborhoods, and all the things that great parents do. But in the end, if they end up in any of those situations that we spoke to earlier, we as parents have to assume some of that responsibility. Now, we all got to be realistic about who we are and who we're raising. Trade schools and community college are great avenues for many people. University ain't for everyone. Some young people have lifelong dreams of getting a certain job or joining the military, and God bless them. They need our full support as well. But as for the other 85% of our kids, they truly have no idea what they want to do at 18.
Think about yourself at the same age. And for the majority of those parents, they got into this without a real strategy. We adopted a real strategy that we employed with all of our kids that not only helped them, but taught us some things about ourselves and our family as well. Whatever you believe will work best for your household is what you should try. But don't go into this without a plan while offering up fruitless choices. Find out what your kids like early in life. Figure out what they're good at and create opportunities for them to practice and perfect those skills and talents. Over time, this should inform how you develop that plan for them when they transition from high school into adulthood. If you found out that your kid was into computers and technology at an early age and you didn't find a way to put them in STEM classes, but found $600 a year for them to play Pop Warner or Chili, you may have to reevaluate your strategy as a parent. And what if you don't know what your kid is good at? Then you keep paying attention and you keep creating different opportunities for them and see what they excel at. Again, you should use these times and these things to help you inform what your strategy will be when that day comes that your little person becomes your big person. We also have a full breakdown of these concepts and a few more in episode 14.
And if all else fails, if none of this other stuff we talked about works, continue to love your child, love on your kid, and continue to encourage their positive growth. They're not ready at 18, and truth be told, neither will you. That's my 2 cents. Peace.